Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of My Hero, My Life. I'm super excited about today's episode. Obviously, you know what we're talking about. You clicked on the video. We're talking about what if Overhaul was All for One's successor? What would that look like? What would happen? Well, we're going to jump right into that. But before we do, make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. And hey, why don't you check us out on Twitter and on Discord? You can find those links down in the description below. And with that being said, let's do this. So Shigaraki is All for One's successor, right? And there's many different reasons for why that is. I don't think in the anime they've totally explained that, but there's some really cool stuff later in the manga that makes it very clear why Shigaraki was chosen. I want to pretend that wasn't a thing. Obviously, those were important. Obviously, those things that I'm talking about were very, very key to All for One's plan and to why he chose Shigaraki. But again, we're not going to worry about those. Today, we're just simply thinking about what if Overhaul was All for One's successor. And I just think that Overhaul is really cool. And in many ways, I think has the possibility to be better than Shigaraki. Yes, in the end, Shigaraki defeated Overhaul with, cutting off his hands and taking the quirk away. So I would say yes, Shigaraki outwitted Overhaul, but that's because Overhaul kind of underestimated Shigaraki. And so, I think that if Overhaul wouldn't have and would have been able to realize that Shigaraki was kind of a big deal, even though he may have not had the same kind of grand scheme that Overhaul had, that maybe he wouldn't have ran into that kind of problem. And so I just think that if he was All for One's successor, I think that he had the mentality, I think that he had the concept and the plan to be able to figure out what All for One's major plan is and to be able to execute that to a complete and flawless perfection. Overhaul, with his quirk already, has an extreme advantage. Where Shigaraki just destroys everything, Overhaul can destroy things. He has that ability, but he can also reconstruct things. He can be able to recreate, essentially, in his own image. And this gives him a huge advantage compared to Shigaraki. And I think that also, if you think about the Hazaikai and all the different villains that were there, if Overhaul would have still had his connections there and been able to take some of them with him, man, that would have made the League of Villains even better. To have all of those other ones joining him, I think he could have created a much stronger villain organization when it comes to being underground, just following All for One's lead. And I know that All for One really took a back seat and let Shigaraki do his thing, but I imagine that Overhaul would want to understand, that Overhaul would be trying to learn and essentially get the concept of what All for One was seeking. And he would do whatever it takes to go that route. Now, why would All for One choose Overhaul? Why choose him? Well, it goes back to that quirk. It goes back to what Overhaul already has. He has a great quirk, but he also has a great mind. Shigaraki can kind of already come off as petty and kind of just like, oh, I don't know what to do. I'm so mad. Almost like this whiny kid. Overhaul was smart. He was wise. He knew what he was doing. He had a plan. And I think that you take those two pieces, an amazing, amazing quirk, and you take a really smart brain. Why wouldn't All for One take him? Why wouldn't All for One be like, oh man, Overhaul would be the man? I just think it'd be awesome. Now, with all that being said, I want to kind of talk about some of the current spoilers in the manga. And with that being said, guys, if you're an anime-only guy, this is your moment to shut off the video. This is your moment to just be done with it. Like, honestly, stop. Stop. And stop. All right, you've been warned. We're going into spoiler territory in 3, 2, 1. So right now, Shigaraki has come out of his cocoon. He is taking on people, and it kind of seems like he has this quirk, All for One, or All for One's controlling him to some degree. I'm not 100% sure. Obviously, we will know more later, but if you know a little bit more, feel free to drop your thoughts or your knowledge down in the comments below. And so I like to think about, where would Overhaul be right now if he was the successor? Because of his devotion to All for One, I think that he would just essentially let himself be used in any shape, form, or way. Now that means that he has to have a deeper bond than Shigaraki does with All for One. But I think that could have been created, because Overhaul seems to really like someone that can think through a plan. He tried to give his plan to the head of the Heiseikai, and he's like, oh no, we don't do that. We don't deal with things that way. And I think that really made him mad, and that's why he did what he did. But I think that with All for One being willing to be like, hey dude, do whatever you want, but also pour deep into him, I think they would be connected in a way that Shigaraki was never connected to All for One. And so at this point, I think that Overhaul would be a complete and utter willing vessel to do whatever it takes for All for One to do what he wants. And I think, therefore, if we were rating this, which I never really thought we were until this very moment, Overhaul is probably the better option. Yes, he doesn't have the issues that Shigaraki does, because Shigaraki was Nanoshimiru's grandson, and that's a big deal, right? He wanted to hurt the user of One for All, and so there's that aspect, but you take that out of it, and I think that Overhaul is a better person to fit for All for One as a successor. But I don't know, guys. What do you think? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know, hey, did I miss something? Are there other aspects that make Overhaul a great successor? Or am I completely wrong? Is Shigaraki the best one? Is Shigaraki the definite choice to be All for One successor? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, guys, with that being said, make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. And hey, check me out on Twitter and on Discord. You can find all those links in the description below. And with that being said, I'll see you guys next time.